Riveting content. Empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789. KOG and Company. Are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Do you desire to belong to a community of unity? Visit KOGpassion.com to learn more about the Unleash Your Dopeness movement.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Money Factor here on the Sphere Podcast Network. My name is LaShonda Johnson, certified financial educator and also the co-founder of the Houston Housewives of Finance. Good morning. And so I have a very special guest with me today. I tell you, we have a really good show lined up for you today. It's going to be very conversational. So if you're on Facebook Live, we want you to be able to chime in and put your comments. So I want to introduce my guest. Of course, you guys know millennials, life is about millennials. They're going to take us over in the next generation. So I have one with me today that I'm pretty excited about having because she brings a lot of knowledge as well. And also she's going to have some good conversation for us today. So everybody, please welcome Kiara Peoples.
Hello. Yes, my name is Kiara Peoples. I'm with Millennials and Money, and I'm so excited to be here today.
Yes, absolutely. So you guys, we want to start off today talking about some of the things that have been in the news.
Yes.
And the biggest thing that has been in the news is Equifax. Yes. So I was affected and I'm not happy that I've been affected. Some of you have probably been affected too. If you have not checked to see if you've been affected, then this is going to be a very good series for you today to look at or episode. So we're going to go into the news because there is article after article after article about this issue. And so we want to start by just talking to you guys about, what has taken place. So it says after Equifax hack, consumers are on their own. Here are 6 tips to protect your data. So, Kiara, when I saw this, first of all, what do you think when you heard about the hack? Some people are happy and some people like, hack me, please. And others are like, no, I don't want my. So what did you think when you saw it?
Well, I was kind of like the first group. I was like, if they hacked, hopefully my credit score went up. But the more I learned about it, that's not exactly what happened. So, of course, I went on the website and they said I was affected. And
so you were affected too?
Yes. So I just feel like, even if you feel like maybe your credit score is not the best or you don't know how it works, just go in there just to check.
Yes.
You have to see if you were affected and what steps you should take.
Absolutely. So it doesn't matter if you have bad credit or good credit. Either way, you'll learn throughout this episode today that it's important just to make sure where you stand because, information that was received through the hack is not just used for credit purposes. It's used for all kinds of things that we wouldn't even expect. Criminal minds, man,
Creative.
The power of a criminal mind.
Yes.
And so we're at their mercy when they have our information. So let's go back to the article. So it says, when it comes to dealing with the aftermath of Equifax massive data breach, it'll be up to consumers to be on guard against data thieves, experts say. Last week, the credit rating company disclosed that it was hacked earlier this year, leaving 143 million U.S. consumers' personal information exposed. That's not cool at all. Equifax now faces numerous lawsuits, a huge stock price hit that's actually already happened, and several state and federal investigations. So its slow and incomplete response continues to anger people all over the country. So let's talk about that for a second. So we're talking about their slow response. I don't know what they could have done after it's taken. You can't pull it back. You can't say, hey, those of you who hacked us, give that information back.
Yeah.
They hacked for a purpose.
Yeah. Definitely.
And so I guess, generally people are looking for, some type of apologetic, statement or some actions. I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think so this weekend, of course, it's been in the news. And so I think as a consumer, you have to really do your education. So if people don't know, Equifax is one of the 3 major credit bureaus that houses all of your information. So like we said, it's not just your credit score. Of course, it has your social, but it has like your payment history. So it has your open accounts, your closed accounts.
Yes.
It has your address.
Yes.
It has maybe if you co-sign for somebody. So now it has your associations. So it's way bigger than just a credit score. It has
your life.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
and life. So as a consumer, we definitely have to empower ourselves, of course, to see what do they do, what information is now maybe exposed, and see, of course, now you have to monitor your your credit history a little bit more closer to make sure that you don't have any errors or breaches.
Or breaches, absolutely. So, and another thing too, like you were talking about, just not only it's not just about your credit, but like you said, your life is there. I mean, where you live, your whole life.
Yeah.
That's where we keep. That's where your information on pretty much your character is kept.
Yeah.
And so your character as far as behavior with money and extension of credit.
Yes.
And so, but because of that, we have to know, the history of you is located there. And nowadays, white collar crime with identity theft is real.
Oh, yes.
And so some of the obvious things that we think they're looking out for, we don't know what they're looking out for. So let's go back to the article and see what else it has to say. You want to pick up there, Kiara?
Yes. Okay. Lisa Jernsner has been tracking Equifax bungled response, both as a possible victim and as a writer for Kiplinger's Personal Finance. The call lines have been flooded to them. I think their call centers are overwhelmed, Jernsner says. When I tried to call it last Friday about it, I got a busy signal. Then it hung up on me, so I went online. But there too, as of Thursday, problems continue with Equifax website, with some users encountering system error messages. The company says that as of Tuesday, 11.5 million people had signed up to monitor their reports.
Wow. 11.5 million. But that's a very small number compared to the 143 million that have been affected. And so me personally, I signed up for it because I'm like, okay, I actually went back and forth with it. But the reason really I signed up for it is so that I can see what the experience is going to be about, so I can report it to you guys. So I'm being the dummy here. I'm going to be the dummy. I'm going to be the dummy to see what happens so I can tell you guys about it. But if you don't do that, you need to do something.
Yeah,
you have to do something to monitor your credit. Let's go back to the article. You can continue.
Okay. Equifax declined an interview. It has tried to respond to the public outcry,
of course,
removing legal language on its site after people commented on it, actually. For example, that appeared to waive consumers' rights to sue. It also had to explain why executives sold off company stock days after the breach and why it took Equifax over a month after discovering the problem to disclose it to the public.
Now, why did y'all do that? So, that's the kind of stuff that makes consumers ticked off, because it's like, okay, y'all knew something. Y'all sold stock like crazy, so why weren't we given that opportunity? So I know that FINRA, SEC is all over that. And I know that there's going to be investigations about that. So now that is the one thing it says, if you do sign up for them, then you can't, you forego suing them. And so we had a conversation about this morning. So I said, well, there's probably going to be, there's already several class action lawsuits. And I'm just thinking in terms of 143 million people that were affected. If they have to pay us all something, what are we going to get? Like $12?
Basically. Yeah. Basically.
It's some small figure. So it will probably cost me way more to fix my credit from this breach than me jumping into the lawsuit that probably 6-10 years from now I get $12.
That's true.
So, make a decision. You personally make a decision on what you want to do. You do need to make some type of decision, but weigh your options. So let's go back to the article. Okay, you can continue.
Gerstner was also offended by Equifax and other credit agencies' attempts to capitalize on the traffic by selling data protection services, which I think is also something that makes Equifax.
Oh, come on now. Yes. I mean,
they
really?
saw the opportunity.
But you cannot make an opportunity off of us when we were affected by something that you didn't protect us against.
Yeah.
When credit reporting agencies are supposed to be the safeguarded place.
Yeah.
And now you want to sell me a service because you didn't take care of business to protect me from this.
And still going to get a gain.
No.
Yeah.
Continue. No.
Okay. Where'd I leave off? So yeah, she said, which I think is also something that makes this Equifax breach galling to people. It's the same company selling us services to protect ourselves that has now given up our data, she says. It's not just consumers and investing coming down hard on Equifax. Legal and political powers are also demanding answers and justice. The Massachusetts Attorney General Maura Healey, who plans to sue the company, called Equifax breach the most brazen failure to protect consumer data we have ever seen. Several other states and the Federal Trade Commission have said that they opened their own investigations. Members of Congress have demanded criminal investigations and full accounting of what happened.
Yes.
Meanwhile, security experts say the burden will fall mostly on the consumers to manage the aftermath.
Which is sad.
Very sad.
Things, hey, at the end of the day, this is in our lap. It's for us to handle. We have to take personal responsibility. It goes back to on the episodes that we've done here in the past. We've talked about, you have to take personal responsibility for your financial foundation and everything. And now, even though we've been breached, we still have to take responsibility for it. So not a good thing. So we're at that portion in the show that we do need to talk about our sponsor. And this sponsor happens to be Elite Dental Wellness. So Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and friendly atmosphere, we strive to make our patients feel that they are part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness at 713-789-8680. This is where we like to say, ding. Okay. So getting back to this situation, man, this is a sticky situation. So some people, however, think that they're going to be able to, come up from this situation. It is definitely the time for you to clear out, if you have things there that are disputable. Really, we should all be monitoring our credit anyway to see what's going on. And some places you can do that, you guys. There's free places, Credit Karma. Download it, get on it, and so you can see what's going on with your credit, what your score is, what it requests a free report so you can go through it, observe it, and see what's there and what shouldn't be there. So really, this is actually putting us in a mode of cleanup too. Yeah. And so let's go back to the article, see what else it has to say. It says the tools that the consumer have are things they have to do themselves. Okay. And so here we go back to things we have to do ourselves. So freezing your credit is one of the things that you can do. That's a service Equifax says is offering temporarily free of charge. Temporarily. Wow. Okay. Anyway, can protect against people trying to establish new accounts. Experts also urge consumers to regularly check their credit report. We just said that. Monitor every bank statement. Put fraud alerts on credit cards and file tax returns as early as possible to try to prevent fraudulent filing. See, that's one thing that people don't consider, that your identity can be used even for that.
Yeah.
And so that's something we would never think. Why would somebody want to use? Well, yeah, I'm telling you, the mind of a criminal mind.
Yeah.
We just don't know where they're thinking. And it takes a lot of talent to be able to hack Equifax.
True.
Can you imagine the talent it takes to do that? I wonder
Yeah.
how long, our producer is a tech person. So I don't know. Gary, how long does it take you to be able to come up with, how is that possible?
Well, first and foremost, I'm not going to incriminate myself. That's the first thing, right? I'm not going to do that. But what I will say is, I think a lot of times people they assume that technology is always there to be a benefit, and they don't understand that people sit on the other side of the table to benefit off the backs of others.
Yes.
So I would say that, we talked about earlier off air, Equifax, Experian, TransUnion. Those two need to be on alert, because if one can fall, the others can.
The others can.
And if they can collectively make all three fall, now you're going to start this ripple effect of people actually questioning democracy from the financial perspective, to say, how important is my credit score?
Right.
And then we start to look at, capitalism. It makes a fundamental shift on the importance of finance in this
Absolutely.
country.
Sure. Absolutely.
So people need to be on alert about this. Like, this is not games.
Something we should take lightly.
Exactly.
Okay. And I know that some people are like, oh, it's not a big deal. I don't have anything for them to take. They can take your identity. Okay. So you need to be concerned about this if you are not. And so another thing too, I want to say on the heels of what Gary added here, is that, it can question the validity of our system. This is the system in which we run on here in America. Okay. A lot of other countries, they don't have a credit system. Hey, cash and carry. Whatever you don't have, you don't get. You have to buy it with cash. That's not our system here. So if we crack, a hole in this system, man, we're in trouble as a country and what we know of as our operating systems here in America. So it is something to be concerned about. Absolutely. So let's go back to the article. And it said freezing your credit was one. Now, find out if your information have been exposed. So if you haven't done that, go to Equifax Security 2017.com and you can check just to see if you have been exposed or affected. Okay. You can enroll in a free year of credit monitoring there, or if not, use something. Okay. Contact the nationwide credit reporting companies and review your free credit reports from each of them. Like Gary just said, it's not just TransUnion. I mean, it's not just Equifax, it's TransUnion. And what is the other one? Oh my God, Experian. So call all of them, get your report from all of them. Be sure to monitor your accounts for any unusual activity. Okay. And if you're monitoring, you can put alerts on there too, and it will alert you if there's some unusual activity. Okay. Consider placing a credit freeze. Of course, we just said that a few moments ago. And so again, especially if you are a person that is expecting to purchase a home here in the near future or some major purchase. I mean, just think about it. We just got here with Hurricane Harvey.
Yeah.
And so over 600,000 cars were affected. Yeah. And these are people that are going to have to buy vehicles, so people are going to have to use their credit. Yeah. That's something that we use. Employers use credit to determine your character when hiring.
Yes, they do. And I think Gary and both of y'all made a good point. I think that, of course the breach is, kind of a tragedy to a lot of people because we don't know and there's so many unknowns in the situation. But I also think that it's an opportunity to actually maybe change or reform like the credit system, because sometimes and a lot of times actually when you apply for multiple streams of credit, there's alert like, oh no, you get denied, but there was no alert with the breach. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
So when people hack, it's so funny how they're able to use people's identity. There's no system to prevent them to, but when you try to use your own
credit,
oh no, you get denied.
That brings up a very, very good point, Kiara, because again, they things that's supposed to be placed there to protect us too. We need to look at that and protect us against harm as far as that's concerned. Can we have some alerts to let us know, you know, that we've been hacked? I mean, we had to hear about this. Look how we had to hear about it. And there was delay in even that information being exposed to us. So, you guys, we're at that time in Facebook. Facebook Live is for the first 15 minutes of the show. We would like for you to go to the Spear. If you haven't already, go to the Spear Podcast Network right now, this moment, and subscribe. We want you to subscribe. While you're there, we would like for you to write a review. Let us know what you think, what you'd like to see, how the show has impacted you. And of course, we would like for you to share the show. Please share this Facebook feed. It's available. We're on here every Monday. However, there are shows that are continuously going through the week. And when you go check out the Spear Podcast Network, you'll be able to see just a variety of shows there that we know that you'll be able to benefit and learn from. While you're also there, this show is brought to you, of course, free of charge to you. However, we would love for you to donate. You can help us by donating. You can be a one-time patron, or you can continuously donate if you would like to. There's 2 buttons, one for each. Okay. So again, please go subscribe, share the show, write us a review, and donate. We appreciate it. Okay. So let's go back to the article. The next article we're going to go to. Now, this just talks about, okay, so we've been hacked. Now what? Okay. Now, here's what we know. And how in the world did this happen? Yeah. You know, everybody wants to know that because I think there can be a solution to fix it if we know the root. So anyway, you know, our producer has already said, I'm not gonna put myself out there. I'm not telling y'all how it could have happened. But let's go and see what the article has to say about that. And this is all, by the way, on CNN. The links are provided on the Spear Podcast Network or the Spear.tv, so you can go back and look at this. So how did it happen? Much is still unknown, but it came down to a flaw in a tool designed to build web applications, the company said in a press release this week. And Equifax admitted it was aware of the security flaw a full 2 months before the company says the hackers first gained access to its data. That's almost like Pearl Harbor. You know, they had an idea that they were going to get bombed, but nobody took it seriously. Nobody said anything about it. So if you knew 2 months in advance, I'm wondering, like, Equifax, I'm talking directly to you. Why didn't you do something about it or send us an alert? We possibly have a breach. Start protecting your stuff now. Now you want us to protect our stuff after the fact, when you could have asked us to start protecting our information prior to this happening. And we didn't get that alert, like you said, Kiara.
That's true. I mean, I know things happen. I know that sometimes they always say, like, you know, with these websites, you're not able to prepare until something happens. But a credit bureau, like, come on. I mean, I know we had warnings of, like, stores, you know, they were getting hacked with our credit card information, like Target and some of the other stores. So it was kind of leading up to this. But I guess at this magnitude, nobody thought that, you know, a whole credit bureau could be hacked. And so
I guess we're just in the season of nobody thought. Nobody thought Harvey was going to come here and drop 50 inches of rain. Nobody thought our credit system could be hacked. What's the next thing that's going to hit us that nobody thought?
Don't say that.
I mean, I'm not cursing us or anything, but I'm just saying we're in the season of nobody thought. Can we start thinking?
That's true. Let's plan ahead.
I mean, can we please?
Let's plan ahead.
So exactly. So, I mean, which brings us to, you know, the reason that we're here. All of this has to do with our financial foundation, you guys. And so, again, we've been saying for now, this is what, Gary, 74, 73, 72, 75 episodes. We've been talking about checking your credit, making sure you understand what's going on with your credit, getting out of debt, observing these things, building your house solid. So it's times like these when how our house has been built is really exposed. And so these are circumstances that we do not have any control over, unfortunately. And the powers that be, they had somewhat control. They could have alerted us, but that didn't happen. So that's after the fact. But this is a time where we need to get educated, okay? Come out to our workshops, you guys, because we do talk about credit and how to behave with it and monitoring it. We talk about those things as well. So our workshops take place in our National Campaign for Financial Literacy on Tuesday nights and also on Saturday mornings. And the address is 2500 East TC Jester, Suite 345. That's Houston, Texas, 77008. Tuesday night, 7 p.m., Saturday mornings, 10 a.m. This is not near you. Please give us a call at 1-844-700-4463. We will direct you to a location nearest you. We have locations all throughout the U.S. and Canada. So we do want you to get educated. Now more than ever before, we need to get educated, and we really need to take our financial house seriously, because other people are breaking in. People are breaking in.
True.
Situations are causing breaches in our financial houses, and we've got to make sure we protect them. Okay, so you can also follow us on the Houston Housewives of Finance official. If it doesn't say official, it's not us. You can also follow Millennials and Money.
Sorry.
Kiara Peoples.
You
can follow her too.
Sorry.
But Millennials and Money. We want to make sure that, we're going to talk about that here in this episode, how millennials should be the most concerned. Okay. That's coming up here in just a few seconds here. But absolutely follow our pages. You can hit us up on LinkedIn. We're also on Instagram. We're also on Twitter. We're everywhere. You can Google us. Okay. So just make sure you reach out to us so we can help you with this process to make sure you build your house absolutely solid. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the article. Kiara, you want to pick up where I left off?
Yes. Some of the information hackers had access to include names, social security numbers, birth dates, addresses, and some driver's license numbers. The tool is called Apache Struts and is used by many large businesses and government organizations. Equifax used it to support its online dispute portal, where Equifax customers go to log issues with their credit reports. The flaw allowed hackers to take control of a website.
Wow. That's some serious stuff. Take control. Wow. So, I mean, if they can do that, Gary Lee, completely just come in and take control. So, wow, that's crazy. It's time for us to go to the second sponsor here in our show today. And that, of course, is the Sphere Podcast Network. So, are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have have the need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at the Sphere Podcast Network. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with our strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789 or send us an email over to advertise@thesphere.tv. Okay, so you guys, exciting things happening here at the Sphere. Exciting things coming up before this year ends, I would say in the next quarter. So stay tuned. You definitely want to have your product or your brand advertisement or a building of your brand parked here at the spot at the Sphere Podcast Network. Okay, so let's go back to this article and see how this thing, how this is really disheartening. Okay, it says, yet according to the company, hackers exploited the flaw months later. Whew. Not only were we breached, but then we was exploited. So Equifax has said it discovered the data breach on July 29th. That's what they say.
And what's today?
Today is this is September. September's 18th.
They had some time in between there.
Just saying. We're just saying. We have a right, America, to be upset. We have a right. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's go back to the article. It says on Friday, it said it waited until it observed additional suspicious activity. Okay, what exactly does that mean? Anyway, a day later to take the affected web application offline. So it stayed up 24 hours even after you knew that it had been affected. Wow. Okay. On August 2nd, Equifax contacted This is Mandiant, a professional cybersecurity firm, to help the company assess what data had been compromised. With help from Mandiant, Equifax was able to determine a series of breaches and had occurred from May 13th through July 30th, the company said. Wow. So they were sneaking stuff, sipping stuff. It's kind of like you sip gas out of a car. I mean, when you sip gas out of a car, you don't just pull it out all at one time.
So
It
they
just
don't
you sip it out.
Yeah.
Man. So I wonder which bundle I was in.
Wow.
Oh my gosh. So you guys, there you have it. That's how it happened.
Yeah. And that goes back to the alerts. So it's not like they, I was under the impression they did this all at once. So they just
I was too until I read these and I dig deep into it. Yeah.
So where was the alerts? Why didn't anybody catch it? Again, so it's like, where is the protection for the consumer? You protect, us getting credit and accounts, but you don't really necessarily protect the information. So
I can tell you what, they don't have no problems reporting when you don't do something that you're supposed to do.
Yeah, you get that email.
I mean, exactly.
Your score went up, it went down quickly.
There's no problems and there's no breach in that. It didn't say, let's breach it and make sure everybody says they did good. They did great.
Inquiries off.
Yes. Yeah, take the inquiries off. Whoever hacked, can y'all have, hooked us up a little bit?
I mean, give us something out of the deal. Dang.
Give us something out of it. Yes, let's go back to the article. So it says, patching software, a big corporation, is that what it's called? Patching software, a big corporation with many machines, does take time. They must first identify the vulnerability, then implement the test to patch to make sure it doesn't. And Gary's shaking his head like, yes, that's true. So, okay, we're giving you guys the benefit of the doubt. However, security experts say Equifax should have moved faster. Okay. So just like they say, what's his name over at the church? Should have moved faster. Joel Osteen should have moved faster and opened his doors faster. Okay, so Equifax, you should have moved faster. So now, this is the season of people moving slow on things when they should move faster. Okay, so here we go back to the article again. It says there's really no excuse, whether it was a difficult patch or not, for an organization of that size with that kind of magnitude of data, said John Hendrick, director of strategy at security firm UpGuard. When you're a big organization like that, it's systematic failure of process and the blame goes straight to the top. And straight at the top, they were selling off stocks. Wow. Equifax has also been widely criticized for waiting more than a month to alert its customers. That goes back to what you were saying, Kiara, and shareholders about the hack. On Friday, the company announced its chief information officer and chief security officer are retiring.
In quotation marks. Can we just stop right there? Okay, so retiring. Okay. So not only did you sell off your stocks at a good price because nobody knew. That's one thing. So now you retire with a good cushion. And then you're still getting the retirement benefit.
Correct.
Because obviously, first of all, you wrote the policy to set it up like that. Anyways.
Correct.
So retiring, okay. And then okay, you're retiring, but you're good. You don't have to work again. But now you leave this trail of consumers that maybe their identity is stolen. And even if you have bad credit, you're going to have maybe worse credit now because of the severity of people opening accounts and things under your name. So what about the people affected? You have this big lump sum, but you left so much damage.
Yes, it's kind of like Wells Fargo when their CEO retired. Still the people at the top get to retire okay. And I would venture to say more than just okay. Oh, yeah. But we're not okay.
No.
I can't say, oh, my credit was affected, I'm retiring.
Yeah.
You can't say that. No. 143 million of Americans cannot all say that.
Yeah. And
so again, that's their way out is I'm just going to retire. In quotation, I'm going to retire.
But I think it's I took a class on white collar crime. I think this is a different form. I mean, I know we're talking about the hackers, but look at the top executives. Also, not only did this happen, they said May to July. That's a long period of time. We're now in September. This just came out last week. So what about the people responsible? I understand that the system was hacked, but your responsibility after you discovered the issue is also something that should be held accountable,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And then the fact that they sold their stock says a lot. You know, didn't they get Martha Stewart on something like that? You
They
know, when
did.
damage happens and then you sell your stock,
Martha went to jail.
That's the issue. I know, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's a form of...
She went to jail.
Exactly. Insider trading. And so I think that they should be held accountable too, because, you know, you are responsible.
Yeah.
You sell these services, like they're still now pushing monitoring service.
No.
Why do I feel like I can trust you?
I love that you said that, because it is a trust issue now with our system.
Yes.
Which this is a system, a huge part of our system here in the U.S. in order, you know, for the extension of credit.
Yeah.
And also the housekeeping of your credit.
Yes.
And your personal information. So like the article said, a company of this size and of this magnitude of data, I don't know. I really don't know what the solution is going forward. For them and for this system that we have in place. And now, like Gary also said, our producer Gary Lee, is the other bureaus now to be concerned. I hope that they're putting safeguards in place to ward off from something like this happening. But at the end of the day, to address your concern, Kiara, at the end of the day, all of the stuff is just put back on us. Just like this article says, okay, it's pretty much on your lap to fix. And so if it's on our lap to fix, we need to be fixing everything that has to deal with our financial house. And we need to keep those things intact. We just need to be more proactive. Could we have foreseen this? No. I mean, we're all walking around here thinking things are grand. We, you know, there's certain things that we think would never happen.
Oh, yeah.
And this is one of them.
Yeah.
You know, just like, you know, we think our security and defense system for the U.S. military would never be able to be hacked. And that's in question, you know. It's in question how, you know, the Russians were able to tamper with our election system. So, I mean, are we really safe?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm not a conspiracy theory,
Yeah.
theory person, but you know, these things make you think. It
And
really
it's
does
a
make you
different
think.
level. I think most people, of course, technology, we're not sure of the boundaries. And so when we think about safety, we think of physical harm, maybe mental harm, but now we have another level technology wise, you know.
Yes,
and
technology.
So you just have to be safeguarded, you know, and probably, you know, protect yourself instead of maybe putting protection companies that you're not familiar with. So
That goes back to taking control of your financial house and you, and just being involved in what's happening with your brand. I mean, with you, because you are your brand.
Yeah.
And your life, you know, is all of our lives is out there, you know. So what makes me think about this, if this could happen in the cloud that we're storing all our data in, can that be hacked?
Oh, of course.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And the video, you know, and people's documents and
oh my gosh. So oh wow. Okay, we're at this portion of the show. We're going to talk about our third sponsor, which happens to be KOG and Company. Okay, so are your unique gifts and talents changing the world? Unleash Your Dopeness is a people empowerment movement built to encourage the masses to operate outside of their fears and have the gall to recklessly pursue their dreams and passions in life. Join thousands of others as we unlock the greatness that dwells inside. Shop dope gear at kogpassion.com. That's kogpassion.com and use the code DOPE for 10% off exclusive Unleash Your Dopeness apparel. So that's pretty dope. Okay. Act now sizes are selling out fast. Okay. So we all need to unleash our financial dopeness.
Oh yeah, get it
And
together.
get our lives together. I mean, man, because there's just holes all in our systems.
Oh yeah,
nothing's safe. We're not safe.
Yeah, but that's okay. You know, I think that exposing the holes, like you said, that's okay. We'll just fulfill the gaps. Now we know where we need to start, and like you said, build that strong financial foundation.
Yes.
So
be involved in what's happening in your life financially. Okay. Let's go back to the article. I think that's it. So let's go on to the next article. Why millennials should be really worried about the Equifax breach. Why? You know, I would venture to say even before now I have read it, but I can see myself. I'm an older person and I've done some things. I've established in certain ways. I don't have to, I'm not chasing that first home sale. I'm not chasing that first car sale. So let's take a look at this and see, interestingly enough, why millennials are affected the most.
Okay.
So, Kiara.
It seems like every other day we read about a major hack or security breach that exposes our personal or financial information. But last week's news about a data breach at Equifax, one of the 3 major credit reporting agencies, was different. The type of information accessed, social security numbers, birthdays, addresses, was particularly extensive, leaving nearly half of all Americans vulnerable to identity theft. Thieves who get a hold of your personal information can open bank accounts, new credit cards, or lines of credit in your name and destroy your credit in the process. Identity theft is bad news for everyone, but especially dangerous for young adults.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think one thing, the trend, and millennials get called out for a lot, but one thing we get called out for is that we push a lot of the things that the other generations further in life. So buying houses, starting a family, establishing more lines of credit, we kind of do later in life. So I think that for millennials, it's like you said, this will kind of damage even getting started. Things that we kind of start maybe in the 30s or, late 20s, this will become hard for us because now if our credit score, which is really the only factor that we had to go for, if that's damaged, what is our possibility of achieving certain goals in life?
Absolutely. Let's go to the article and see what it has to say.
Yeah.
I mean, I agree with you 100%. Millennials may need their credit sooner. You just said that. When you try to open a credit card or take out a loan to make a big purchase like a house or car, your credit report gets pulled. It determines whether you get the loan in the first place and also the interest rates you'll pay. In many cases, your credit history may even be a factor in whether you can rent an apartment or get a job. Most people do run credit for these things.
Yes,
Jobs and apartments. That's the way we do things now. While many older adults may already be settled down for the long term in a home or with an employer, people in their 20s might want to hit those milestones in the next 5 or 10 years, says Patrick Amy, a certified planner with KHC Wealth Management. Poor credit early in adulthood can make it harder for young people to reach their goals. Exactly what you just said.
Yeah.
And so if you're a millennial, please take heed to this. Make sure you're watching your credit. Make sure you're doing the right things to build it properly, which leads to the workshops again. You need to come out to those so you can understand how that works. Okay. Also follow Millennials and Money. That's Millennials with a $sign and Money Facebook page. They're also on Instagram with Millennials _and _money. They're on Snapchat with Millie to Millie. So follow them because there's constant influx of information that you can get as a millennial. It's pertinent information to your age group as a millennial.
Yes.
So let's go back to the article, Kiara.
Okay.
Plus.
Plus good credit is especially important when refinancing student loans, a move that could lead to significant savings. If you have poor credit, you may not be able to score lower interest rates on your debt. Yes.
That's a big one.
Yeah, definitely a big one. Decades of good credit can help offset negative hits to your credit score, so people in their 50s and 60s may have an advantage over those in their 20s and 30s. Millennials' credit history window is so small, said Alexander Rupert, a certified financial planner with Laurel Tree Advisors, so it will take a long time to pave over those negative marks. I feel like that is true, but also, I mean, it's almost weird. Like, it's not a full balance. Millennials, I feel like, are pushed and pressured sometimes to get credit cards. I know so many young people have multiple credit cards, whether it's for department stores, Victoria's Secrets, Walmart, so we have we're the biggest consumers almost for credit cards, but yet we don't have, it doesn't affect us positively, on our credit score, to help boost the things that we want in life, and so maybe this breach can kind of help that, to kind of balance out, because I feel like we shouldn't be, scored at such a same rate as everyone else.
Wait a minute, what?
Well, okay, what I'm saying is, okay, because now, okay, we get a house later in life, but we get more credit, you know, but we're still like, okay, because credit score is based off of how many lines of credit you have, your payment history, your credit history.
I'm trying to follow her, America.
But
I'm like, I don't get this one. Okay, continue, because
Okay.
I don't understand.
Let's say, so versus a baby boomer and a millennial. Baby boomers didn't have credit. Like, I know some people with almost 10 credit cards right now. Baby boomers didn't necessarily have that many lines of credit. So their credit score, they are able to grow their credit score a little bit more positively versus a millennial who has more credit lines open.
Okay. Now, I don't agree with you on this.
Okay.
Okay, because here's the thing. You're saying, and let me first make sure that I understand you correctly.
Mm-hmm.
You're saying a baby boomer had more lines of credit, or
they
had less.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And so because you guys go out and get more, you should be scored differently.
Well, I'm just saying it's like a different time. So I feel like, you know, back then more people didn't get into credit necessarily. They started like the big purchases like a house or a car, versus millennials, they have more credit cards, like even at college.
But they don't have to. That's
No,
a choice.
Yeah.
Okay. I see what you're saying as far as the time during the baby boomer era, there wasn't as much credit available.
Yeah,
because there wasn't as much companies extending credit.
Yeah.
And so now credit is you know, everybody extends some type of credit.
Yeah.
So you're probably apt to go get more credit. I understand what you're saying. But regardless of the volume of credit that you obtain, your behavior with it, you control.
Oh, yeah.
And so if you have 10 credit cards versus if you just have 2 credit cards, how you pay that, of course, is going to affect your debt to income ratio. But if it's still, because you're in an era where people are credit is more readily available, then that should be the reason that you educate yourself on the behavior of it. So you can't say because, well, this is just my opinion. Because I'm in an era where credit is more prevalent now, then I should be given some consideration, or not necessarily some consideration, but I have more things that can affect me.
Yeah.
If you understand what I'm saying.
I don't mean me personally, because actually I don't really have the main credit lines, but I just feel like as the credit era evolves, I feel like the credit score practices have to evolve with it.
Now that I do agree with you on. I think the practices surrounding credit need to be addressed.
That's what I meant.
Okay.
It's evolving.
Yes.
You know, and so because the trend is like we're pushing it back to get a house, to start a family, I feel like it has to evolve with the time. And I feel like the breach kind of, hopefully that will shift it. Because, you know, you get hard inquiries for like looking at, well, not necessarily looking
now,
at
I agree
it.
with you on that.
Funny.
I agree. But you're true.
Yeah.
You're true. Just, you know.
Like you breathe on it, you get an inquiry, you know, and it's like it goes down. But yet, you know, millennials, we're in the age of technology, and so we're going to research, we're going to go shop to 4 or 5 different shops, but we get hurt by it, you know. And so that's what I meant. I didn't mean us personally.
I get what you're saying on that. So my take on that, as a millennial, you've got, and a consumer, you've got to get educated.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't just jump into these, you know, the pool, because the credit pool is big. We know that, you know, it's deep. You know, we're not talking about 10 feet deep. We're talking about way deep. And some people are floating at the bottom, and they don't even know how they're going to get to the top.
Yeah.
And we have a solution for that. You got to come out and get educated. That is a solution to all of this. You have got to get educated. You have to understand how we're operating in today's time. You have to understand your options. And first of all, don't get sucked in, okay? Yeah. Because some people dive into the pool of credit and then they're swimming forever. And what happens when you're in some place that you're immersed in water for a long period of time? You end up looking like a raisin when you come out, dried up. Yeah. And so later in life, that's how some of us end up looking, like a dried up raisin financially. Yeah. We have no life in us because we've taken advantage of these systems. True. And we've also used them and utilized them for not really what the purpose of them are for. And so again, it's education that's going to be very vital for you to get involved in, and also to reverse. You have to learn how to reverse some of these things society dumps on us.
Sure.
Even though society says, yes, you should have credit, there's all these subliminal and direct messages about it. You have to make a decision based on education. Is this something I want to jump into? And if I do jump into it, it has got to be beneficial for me. I've got to behave with it in a way that it benefits me short term and long term.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you're definitely right. And
Yes.
I feel like, I think as a consumer, we have to take it like, okay, there was a breach, but how can I use it to my benefit? Like
At
me,
this
I'm
point,
always like
right.
outstanding. I'm like, wow, somebody could hack my, identity and use, it to their benefit more than I could do it. So I need to understand, like, what does my name do? What can I get with my name? And how can I actually move up in life? Don't use credit as like, oh, I need necessarily a purse or shoes. But how can I benefit in life? How can
Right.
I, grow myself?
Your net
and
worth.
income? Yeah.
Absolutely. How can I grow my net worth?
Yes.
Using my own name.
And building wealth, and so
Yes.
you have to start thinking with a different mindset, because that's what the hackers do. They're moving up in life while we're like on the same level. So you have to expand, your knowledge. Like you said, come to our workshops and understand what credit even means and how it can help you in life.
Absolutely. I think that is a very, very good point, millennials, but not just for millennials. I think for all of us. I mean, and so I'm hoping that a result from this is that the credit bureau systems will start looking at the systems. I know this has been in question for some years, though, that the antiquated way that credit is being used, monitored, rated, it's antiquated. This is a good time to revamp it, update it. And then as a consumer, we do have rights. You also, as a consumer, need to know what the Fair Debt credit reporting information says as yourself as a consumer. So you understand your rights through that. But yes, it's time. It's time for us to now figure out what is a better way to do these things. Just because it's always been the way that we've done it doesn't mean that it does not have opportunity for change for the better. And so I'm just hoping that is something that comes out of this.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go back to the article, and we'll go jump to the last article. The last article, just 4 financial moves to make if you're single. So Kiara and I are both single. So that does not just apply to millennials or Generation X. This applies across the board to single people. So we want to kind of, lighten the burden, of all this stuff about us being hacked.
Yeah.
And let's look at some things that we can do now to, like you said, improve your net worth and improve your name and what you can do with your own name. So let's go look at that real quick.
Okay.
Number 1, have more emergency savings. I mean, oh my gosh, is that not appropriate?
Yes.
So we've been hit with Harvey. People were hit with Irma. And as I checked today, there's 2 more storms that are brewing out there. So you guys, you have to have more emergency fund. The rule is 3 to 6 months. I'm challenging people to do a year.
Yeah.
Have a year worth of emergency funds on hand, on deck for any situations. I see Gary's over there sighing.
Oh yeah. 12 months. Ooh.
Well, this is a challenge that I'm even taking myself. I'm like, okay, I need to build a year because it's too many things that could happen that could suck up your emergency funds in a matter. I mean, I know personally, I've dipped in emergency funds 3 times over the past 8 years. Okay. And a lot of that is because building a business and things like that. But you guys, I'm going to challenge you, build a year's worth of emergency fund. I know that will definitely give you some serious peace of mind if you can do it, but it's also going to require some financial sacrifices. You're going to have to put off some of those things that you want. Take a look and do inventory and see, sometimes we just don't need things. We just want things. No. Yeah, I'm at that place. I'm like, man, I don't need anything else that has to do on the clothing line or the shoe line or the, want line. I always like to travel. That's probably something that I won't get away from. Yeah. But as far as everything else is concerned, I think I'm good. Yeah. That's true. So that's why I want to rebuild. I want to rebuild really strong a year's worth of emergency fund. Number 2, Kiara.
Okay. Ramp up your retirement plan contributions.
Yes.
And, we always say retirement plans and people are like, when I'm older, but retirement is not an age. A retirement is when you feel like, you know, you can actually sustain retirement. So there's a big difference. And you don't want to just retire because maybe you have to, like, you know, because something came up. You still want a quality of life. So you have to understand, what kind of lifestyle do I want when I retire? How much will that cost me? Where do I want to live? What do I want to drive? And can I keep up the lifestyle?
Yes.
How long do I plan to be retired, you know, until, you know. So
you've got to pay yourself first too.
Definitely.
And I want to challenge you guys today. I'm giving out challenges today. I'm passing them out. You've got to increase what you pay yourself. So check out your savings. If you've been saving, I've been saving $100 a month, $200 a month for the past 15, 20 years. It's time to give yourself a raise on what you're paying yourself.
Yeah.
Because quite honestly, I'll tell you, if you're Generation X, if you're in the 40 and above category, you should at least be saving $2,000 a month to have a decent retirement. $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year to have a decent retirement. The average person needs about $5,000 a month in retirement, assuming they have no liabilities. And that's because if we're going to be retiring 15, 20 years from now, interest is, inflation is eating up a portion of that money. So $5,000 a month today is not going to be $5,000 a month in the next 15, 20 years. So we have to consider those things. You have to pay yourself more. When is the last time you gave yourself a raise?
True.
Give yourself a raise. Number 3, buy long-term care insurance. Wow. We're going to make that a whole show.
Yeah.
And the reason we're going to make it a whole show is because that's a serious issue.
It is.
And I know Kiara's business is the people's advocate.
Yes.
And
So
we
I
also
wanna
have
be
the
on that
secure
show.
seniors.
Yeah.
And man, let me tell you, you guys, if you think you're not going to be stricken with medical expenses, we're living longer. So guess what? We have to deal with some long-term care issues as we live longer. That's going to be another show, but you've got to secure that. That's number 3. Number 4.
Okay. Fight for a raise. And this is across the board. Of course, you have to, it's like about knowing your worth. Like she said, you have to pay yourself a raise, but also in your job.
Absolutely.
You know, if you've been doing the same job for 20 years, I think it's about time you may need a raise, because with inflation, just like jobs, they start to incur more costs. You have to ask for more, more income as well. Your bills are going up, groceries are going up. So of course what you make has to go up as well to match that. So,
absolutely. And what I want to say with that real fast is that if your job is not giving you the capability to go up in income, then you need to consider somewhere else to work. I do want to say something that people really need to seriously consider is entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Look at entrepreneurship. People can call their shots as far as what they make when they work for themselves. When you work for someone else, and I'm not saying you shouldn't work for anyone else, we've all had to do it or have to do it. You've got to work somewhere. But again, you can also pursue entrepreneurship in addition to working your regular job. So people who are wealthy have multiple streams of income. Don't get parked in just one and expect it to be the all end all, be the all in all, however you say that.
Yeah.
You've got to have multiple streams of income.
Definitely. And they say the average millionaire has about
7.
7. Okay.
Yeah.
So that just tells you right there, like, because if one stream dries up, you have another one coming in. And so even though we may not know the date, there's always a rainy day coming. Anything could happen to us. And so you have to have a backup plan.
Absolutely.
We have insurance for everything else. Well, you have to have a backup plan for your life, and your income. So,
absolutely. You heard it from the mouth of a millennial. Okay. And number 5. Oh, it's just 4. Okay. So that's it. There you have it. So you guys, which one of those do you need to do? What you do need to do is contact us so that we can help you build your house, build a solid financial foundation, build your financial house. Consider the things that we've talked about today. You can reach me at LaShondaJ@HoustonHousewifesOfFinance.com.
And Kiara Peoples, Millennials and Money. And I'm at kpeoples1207@yahoo.com. But I'm also on Facebook, Instagram with Millennials and Money.
Absolutely. You can direct message us on Instagram. You can also hit us up on Facebook. You can inbox us. You can also email us at info@HoustonHousewifesOfFinance.com. MillennialsInMoney.com. That's their email address. 1-800-1844 1-844-700-4463 is how you get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. We would love to help you. Our services are complimentary, you guys. I don't know if we mentioned that. Complimentary means free. So we're here for you. Please give us a call. Reach out to us, and we'll see you next week. Same time, same place. Thank you so much, Kiara, for
Thanks
being
for
here
having
today.
me.
We'll see you next week right here on the Money Factor in the Spirit Podcast Network. Bye-bye.